Joshua, he said, behold, my servant Moses is dead. That's kind of a disheartening, kind of a heart-chilling statement. What are we going to do? And it makes him think, what are we going to do now? But I want you to see 3 times in those first few verses, the first 10 verses there, he tells Joshua to be strong and very courageous. Even so, be strong and courageous, he says. He says, even so, be strong and very courageous. It says it in verse 6, verse 7, and verse 9. If God tells you something 3 times, He must be real serious about it, okay? If He tells you something 3 times, He must be serious about it. So you need to be serious about listening to what He's telling you. If He told Joshua 3 times to be strong and very courageous, I want you to see what He tells us. This book right here contains, and this is part of my preaching this morning, it contains 365 incidences of do not be afraid or don't fear or never fear. 365. How many days your calendar got on it? Huh? How many days does your calendar read?
365.
365, right? Don't be afraid. Every day of the year. So we don't have anything to be afraid of. See, the same God that told him that is telling us this right now. So don't be deterred or rebuked. Don't let these godless heathens in your workplace dictate how you behave yourself. Don't let them tell you can't share Jesus with the other co-workers. Don't be afraid to stand up and be counted as one of His. All right? So where's this leave us? Don't check your faith at the door of the plant, the office, the mill, or the factory. You are commanded by the Almighty to live for Him. So be the best employee you can be for His honor and His glory and His majesty. Read another illustration. Said this Pakistani woman became a Christian, and her husband was just livid. And he beat her, and he beat her, and he beat her. And she went to the mission to get help for her wounds and stuff like that. He said, why do you keep going back? She said, I must. I must. He said, well, how are you going to live? She says, I'm going to be the best wife that I can be. I'm going to cook his food extra specially good. I'm going to clean his clothes extra specially good. I'm going to be the best wife that I can be, so he can see what Jesus means to me. Guess what happened to that rascal 6 months later? Huh? Guess what happened to him? That joker got saved. Goodness gracious alive, ain't Jesus something? Woo! Okay? You're to be the best employee you can always be. If He remains our focus, our work will reflect His presence. And if His presence is reflected, others will see Christ in us. Amen?
Amen.
Okay. Lastly, don't be afraid. I told you it appears 365 times in this dear book. Put it on your calendar. Matter of fact, walk up to your calendar tomorrow and write, never fear. Okay? Never fear. That's why I picked that hymn. Okay? Because it says that in it. Never fear. Only trust and obey. Okay? Write that on your calendar every day. Never fear. Next day, write, don't be afraid. I trust you, Lord. I'm not afraid. Okay? Do that every day. I guarantee you, you're going to start being an Audie Murphy for Jesus. You'll be a John Basilone for Jesus. Okay? So a day will never go by where fear would run rampant in your life. Okay? If you keep reassuring yourself that God God not only has your back, He's got your front, folks. He's got your front. He's your shield, it says. A shield ain't in the back. It's in the front. Okay? He's your shield. It says He's your buckler. In other words, He's that small shield that you keep for that hand-to-hand combat. Okay? He's your fortress. He's where you can go and run to when you do become afraid. I'm not going to say you're not always going to be fearless. Because there's going to be times where fear will strike your heart. But if you focus on Him, it's going to be short-lived. Trust me. We're going to sing a closing hymn here. And then we're going to go out. I love you, church. Missed you last week. And I was thinking about you all the way back. Especially when I was slip-sliding going in and out of them lanes. I was thinking about you. So we're going to sing this hymn and then we'll go out. 208. I'm sorry, 203. 203.